We are live, and here we go. Welcome to Anti-Anxiety Hour. I'm your host, Illicit Ghost. Found your music on the internet, and I couldn't get enough of it. Now I wanna have a little chat. Wanna know where your head is at. I just wanna talk to you, find out more about what you do. I just wanna hear your view, tell me more about what you do. I'm a Illicit Ghost, I'll be your host cause it's my radio. I just wanna hear your view, tell me more about what you do, what you do, what you do, what you do, what you do. Welcome everybody to Anti-Anxiety Hour. I am your host, Illicit Ghost. Today we have Georgia Meek on the show. These are her socials. I am Georgia Meek, Instagram. Georgia is a artist from the UK, and she just put out a new song called Made of Stone, and we are going to talk to her about that today. She is featured on my anti-anxiety playlist, so check her out there or search Georgia Meek on Spotify and you'll find her that way. Okay, so I think we have a little call coming in. Let's see. We do not. Okay, so while we wait for Georgia to call, I want you guys to ask questions. Tell me how your week was. I don't know if you could see at the bottom of the screen, but there is a question box. So definitely ask away. I mean, anything. Music, life, anything you can think of. We'll answer it for you. So, yeah, Chinmay, how are you? It's good to see you here. Okay, I think we have Georgia. I think we have a little call coming in. Let's see. Oh. Here she is.
Hi!
Hello. What's up? How's your day going?
It's going okay as lockdown days go.
Yeah, you're in London, right?
I am in London, yes, and it is droll. I have to say, sorry for all the Americans watching with my English slang, but London is really peak. Like it's not good. We still can't do a lot, and I feel like all the conversations I've had with everybody in the rest of the world, it seems like lockdown has got a lot looser, but here we're very much still trapped in our houses, so it's not great.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the way it has to be because going out is just continuing to spread it and it's not getting any better. As we're seeing, like in parts of my country, people are going out and they're just spreading the virus more. But yeah, it's good to just stay in and stay safe. Yeah, so thank you for joining us today. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your new single, Made of Stone.
Yes.
So it's a beautiful song. If you guys are just tuning in, you can hear it on Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere you listen to music, it's there. So I'm just wondering, where did the inspiration from the song come from? And also, how did you go about recording it and getting it produced and out for release?
So basically, I mean, it's the same thing I say to every person that ever asks me about songwriting, which is there's never an exact approach. So this was one of those situations where I'd gone to a friend's house who was also a writer, just for we were like, let's have a creative session, let's meet up and just write something. And he came up with some really cool chords. And at the time I was, I'd met this guy on Hinge, which is like a dating app. I don't know if that's a thing everywhere in the world, which is in the UK, but and he was Australian. So he was in the UK and we met, and then basically he was here for like 3 months and he told me that he loved me, and it was like really emotional. And he went back to Australia and we tried to keep it going long distance, and in the end it just didn't work out. But the song, like the lyrics are very much like about the way I felt. He left me like a sweater here, like a hoodie. I think in America you call it a sweater, like the big jumper thing. So yeah, there's like lyrics in there that's like, in the winter when I return and you're worn out, please. Like there's lots of like references in there. Yeah, I guess it was just one of those writing sessions that turned into something really meaningful, and it was really nice. And I wrote it with like 2 of my best friends. So yeah, that's how it came about. That's how the song was born.
Cool. Okay. Oh, that's sad though. But you know,
Yeah,
it's just another lesson of life. You know, sometimes things don't work out if they're not meant to. Maybe at that time, you never know. But
no,
yeah,
exactly.
It is a beautiful song, and I was just wondering, how did you get it ready for release? Did you go into a studio or did you do it from home?
So every single one of my songs that I've ever released, anything you listen to on Spotify, has all been created in somebody's bedroom or living room. That's it. We don't use major studios. The only time, and people who follow me on Instagram, they'll see me a lot of the time in big studios, but that's mainly for writing for other people. In terms of my own stuff that I release, it just all comes from spaces in people's houses. And you know, we have that creative energy. We're in a room in someone's house, we do that, and then a lot of the time I'll send it off to somebody who's really, really good at mastering and mixing, and they will polish it. But the creation of the song, it always happens just in a normal environment, somewhere where if people watching this, I don't know if you're sat in the morning having a coffee or you're at lunchtime having a sandwich in your house, I don't know, but if you imagine sitting there and writing a song and creating it in that environment, that's where it happens. Like genuinely, that's where those songs are created. It's just normal life. You just write and you create and you send it to people to polish. That's what happens. So
Right. I've always felt more comfortable just like writing from home, writing from my bedroom. And I did go into a studio once, and it just doesn't feel, I don't know, I almost feel like I'm a little bit stifled going into a studio because it's so like professional, and there's like just this air of like, you're here, you have to fucking like perform, do your thing. There's no room for like just sitting around, in my experience. But totally get what you're saying.
I think
I'm the same way.
Yeah, I think the thing with big studios is mostly the times I've been in big studios is if I'm writing for somebody else, right? So I'll go in, I'll have a brief, I'll have references, and I go in, and it's like any job. You know, if you worked in sales or marketing or anything, you're like, this is your goal at the end of your, you know, working period, and this is what you have to come up with. And so for that in a big studio, that's really easy because you can go in, you know what you have to do, and you just do it. But I think as an artist who also writes, if you're putting something out under your own name and you're singing it and you're writing it yourself, I think that's a completely different kind of feeling and ethos because it's weird. And I don't, to be honest with you, I don't know how I would handle going into a big studio like that, knowing we were producing an album for me and knowing what to do. I just don't think I would be as comfortable. I would just feel I'd get imposter syndrome. Do you know? I would be like,
yeah,
I'm not supposed to be here.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's definitely like a whole different frame of mind that I enter when I do that. But yeah, it's different if you're going in because you're hired to do something. I do a lot of like session violin work, and I go in and I know what I have to do. Like, cause it's like they tell you the part you need to play. You don't need to like think of it on the spot. And it's like, okay, that's fine. But yeah, if it was for me, it's a lot. It's like caused me a lot of stress if I were to do that.
It's difficult, definitely.
So I wanted to ask you a little bit about a I guess you could call it like a collective or a group that you started called Female Music Producers World, and just like how you got that started, and if you could just speak to like how it's helping connect women in the industry.
Yeah, so FMP is actually something I created off the back of being sexually harassed in a music environment. So I had a session, and I was a producer for a predominantly male band, and I'd spent the day, probably about an 8-hour day, working, and then the guitarist of that band asked to stay later because he knew I was staying later in the studio. Well, I wanted to work on, you know, what we'd done. I wanted to get the files together and name everything and organize everything. And it was simply a ploy to take advantage of me, and it was not nice. It was awful, to be honest.
It's horrible.
Luckily,
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Luckily, and I always count my blessings, that I'm quite a difficult bitch. So I feel like a more introverted person might have been more bothered by that. But I was like, you've got a straight kick in the balls, and that's all you're going to deal with right now. But my first thought was, fuck. My second thought was, fuck. How many people is this happening to? Like, I feel like I'd been so privileged up to that point that I hadn't had to deal with any of that. And then I just thought, we need somewhere to discuss and exchange ideas, and just, you know, not even exchange ideas, but exchange problems, and feel like we're not alone together in those issues and problems. So yeah, I'm really pleased with FMB, and I'm pleased with the way it's going. And, you know, we started it in January this year. We've already got over 2,000 members, and it's all completely women who are working in production and music. In terms of, we're not talking about women who are singers and wearing bodysuits and standing on stage like Little Mix, and I still have an utmost respect for them, but we're talking about women who are behind the scenes and trying to be professional, and in the sense that people still don't quite seem to respect. So it's nice to have a community of women still trying to do the same thing and make other people realize that that's the job that women do as well. So it's nice.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, it's a great group. If you guys want to check it out, you guys do have Instagram and Facebook, Female Music Producers World. I know there are some female producers watching right now. Check it out, join, share your story if you want, if you feel comfortable. It's a safe space. Yeah. So you're doing quite a lot. I was wondering if you're having any live streams coming up, live performances.
I do, yeah. I've got one on Monday. So I'm overtaking a venue's Instagram called Dingwalls, which in London is a big venue. So it's, I'm trying to think, whereabouts in America are you?
New York City.
Okay, so do you know bands like Fiddler?
No.
Oh man, they're massive. Like, they are your area, but they're so big in England. But basically, all the US bands that come over to the UK to play, they play in venues like Dingwalls. They're massive, like 500 capacity venues, and people just wait for their favorite overseas bands to come and play, and they really fill out. So we're doing a Dingwalls takeover on Monday with Hotbox, and it's also to raise money in support of War Child. It's with Hotbox, and yeah, it's going to be sick. I'm really excited.
That's great.
It. Yeah.
Where can we watch that? Do you know the Instagram handle?
It's not on Instagram. It's on YouTube Live, but there's also a fundraising thing. Basically, on tomorrow night, on Sunday night, I will post it in my bio, and I'm going to put out an Instagram post about it. So if you are interested in watching it, joining in and donating, just check out my Instagram post tomorrow, and there will be all details of how to get onto the live, how to donate money. Yeah, basically, it's going to be really simple. I will post all the information. But apart from anything else, it should just be really fun. Like, money raising aside, I feel like everybody just needs to see some live music at the moment. People are seriously running out of things to do in lockdown, and it'll be really cool. I'm excited.
Sounds exciting. If you guys don't know Georgia's Instagram, it's right here. I am Georgia Meek. Follow her. Yeah, so I have 3 questions that I usually ask the artist at the end. And I wanted to ask you, what song is your anti-anxiety anthem?
My anti-anxiety anthem is a whole plethora of songs, but I particularly love Sigrid.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like all of her songs are just so happy and upbeat. Like, if I'm in a really bad mood in my room or whatever, and I'm get ready, if I put on Sigrid, I just feel really fucking cool. I just feel so upbeat about life. Honestly. You know that song that goes, ooh, everybody loves a show.
Yeah.
I love that. I love it. It just makes me feel so positive.
Yeah, no, she's great.
That's probably like the least cool. I should be like quoting like Nick Cave or something,
No.
but like that's
No,
really
you
my
have to be
anti-anxiety
honest,
shit.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I'm a huge like Carly Rae Jepsen fan. That gets me in like a really good mood. So, whatever, you know,
Do
if
you know
it's
what?
good,
One of my
then
producers is a massive Carly Rae Jepsen fan, and I always rinse him for it because he's like this really cool guy that you think just like loves Nirvana and like he just like is like no way, no pop music. And then I catch him all the time listening to Carly Rae Jepsen. I'm like, you're not as cool as you think you are.
listen, I mean, I have no shame in my guilty pleasures, you know? It's
No,
like,
you just
whatever.
can't.
It makes me
Like,
feel good.
there's such a
But
taboo though on popular culture and popular music in general. Like, even things like watching programs like Geordie Shore and Love Island, everybody's like, you suck for watching that. I'm like, actually, maybe I just want to zone out of real life for a minute and just watch something that's completely mind numbing, or listen to something that is just pure, you know, happiness, meaningless vibes that makes me just feel completely lost. Like, that's
yeah,
really learn to love the small, inadequate things in life because they are honestly little small pieces of harmony. That's it.
I know. I'm a huge Love Island fan, so
Yes.
totally can relate. Um, yeah. The next question I have for you is, name your favorite thing to do to manage anxiety.
This is a hard one. I remember we spoke about this earlier, and I was like, what thing would I say? There's so many different things. First of all, it depends what kind of anxiety I'm feeling. So for people watching that don't know me, I have GAD, which is generalized anxiety disorder. So I suffer sometimes out of the blue with no reason. My main diagnosis is health anxiety. So if I have any sort of pain or bruise or anything in my body, I get really, really, really over paranoid that I've got like a serious illness. So that's a real issue for me, and I have to try and find ways to cope with that. And it got to a point once where it was so bad that I was pushing around my body and feeling my body so much for lumps, for cancer, that I would bruise and damage my own body from pushing and damaging myself so much. So my biggest thing with my health anxiety is to use body awareness. So I sit flat-footed on the ground on a chair that's, you know, flat foot height, and I close my eyes and I go through steps. So I imagine and I think about the very end of my big toe, and I go from toe to toe to toe, and I focus on every single part of my body. And then I go up from my calves to my knees and up my thighs and right up until the top of my head. And I try to spend at least 2 minutes on every single part of my body. And I always feel like by the end of it, you've been thinking so much about every part of your body that you realize that nothing hurts and you've completely managed to clear your mind. So that's a really positive one for me. It's just like small, it's like participation focus. Like you just don't think about anything else. When it comes to GAD, when I just feel generally anxious, my main thing is just to talk to someone, to be honest. I just ring someone. I ring one of my friends, one of my close friends, and I have a chat. And 9 times out of 10, if you've got some good friends around you, they'll make you laugh. They'll just like chat about something that's been going on in their day. And it's just distraction. The second that you take things off the conveyor belt, which is something I learned I had CBT quite extensively, which is cognitive behavioral therapy. And they teach you that your thoughts are like packages going around on the conveyor belt every day. And the second you take a package off the conveyor belt, you don't think about it anymore. It's like a constant loop. So if you can manage to distract your mind enough for 25 minutes, that's enough time to take a package off the conveyor belt. So just find something else that you enjoy doing and really focus on it for 25 minutes. And I promise you, after that, you won't remember why you're upset. That's the whole thing, is your mind is it's an organized structure of thought. And if you can remove that poisonous thought from the conveyor belt and keep it going around with other positive things, then it will be done for the day. Until the next time. But it's a long-term goal. It's a long-term cure. It's not a short-term fix, but
it takes practice.
Yeah.
You know, these things don't work instantly. If you're new to like meditation and you're watching right now, like you need to work at it every day. You can't just like do it and expect that all your problems are going to go away. Like you need determination. You need to just keep doing it. And yeah, I totally understand you. I mean, I do body scan every morning and night just to like make myself more aware of the present moment and not focus so much. I mean, I too get pains like that, and it's hard because you think it's real and it feels really real, but it's not. And you have to find the best way to remind yourself that it's all in your head, pretty much, as scary as that sounds. But there are ways to cope with it, thank God, but everybody needs to find their right way to do it. And I'm glad that you have found the right way, because it's very hard to find.
Yeah. And it's hard. And the other thing I would say is trying to raise common phrases from your vocabulary. Like it doesn't always have to be meditation or mental health or mental awareness or personal well-being. Like for me, I'm a very down-to-earth girl, and like, I'm quite guilty of constantly doing the eye roll thing and being like, oh, I just want to live my life and have fun. Like, ooh, mental awareness. Yeah. Like that for me, like it's something that I really struggle to get on board with. And so many of my friends really in touch with themselves and their zodiacs. And I'm like, really, I find that really hard. But what I do find easy is remembering in those moments of stress and panic that there is something else that I can focus on. And honestly and genuinely, the best thing you can do is ring a trusted person, pretend it's not happening, have a chat about something else, keep them on the phone. If they try to get off the phone, tell them, look, I'm going through a bit of a hard time. I just need like a 10-minute chat. I swear to God, after you get off the phone, you'll feel so much better. And this is only a micromanaging package for this. Like, this is how to deal with things in the short term. Long term, I would 100% recommend CBT. Like, cognitive behavioral therapy is the one. It's the one. I've had everything, like counseling, grievance counseling, everything. But CBT was the thing that really cured me. I went from being in bed for 6 months to progressing a career in a year and being on Radio 1. It was so crazy for me. Just to kind of acquire the skills to be in control of my mental health was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely struggle with depression, anxiety. The one thing that has worked for me is EFT. I don't know if you've tried that.
No.
It's basically just tapping on acupuncture points and just reminding yourself that whatever you need to say, like I am safe, or I can do this. You just keep repeating it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so many different ways now to heal, thankfully. So glad we're finding them.
We're fine. And also, I just feel like, thank fuck, we are so blessed. We're so blessed. Like, when you think about our parents' generation, mental health was not a thing. It wasn't a thing.
I know.
If you felt depressed or anxious, people would just think you were insane. They would try and lobotomize you. Thank God it's a recognized illness, because, and there is a lot of shit in the world at the moment that it's not right, but there are some things that are right, and that is the recognition of mental illness. And yeah, thank God for us creatives, because we would really struggle without that.
Yeah, I know. I know, man. My last question for you is, what is your favorite thing in your room?
In my room, Do you know what? It would probably have to be my bed. It never would have been that before. It would have been my guitar or like my makeup or something really pathetic. But really, these days, I really, really appreciate sleep.
I hear you. I
Yeah.
can't function if I don't sleep for at least 8 hours. I'm a mess.
And also, I used to go into my room, turn on my laptop, and watch like Family Guy or South Park until I fell asleep, and like just have all these constant distractions. Now I have nothing in my room. I go in there, I get into bed, and I sleep, and that is all my room is for. And I cannot stress to anyone watching this how important that is. Like, it's changed my life having a room with no distractions. It's really changed my life. It's changed my sleep pattern, my productivity, everything. Like, just have a dark room. Have a dark room in your house where you go at a certain time of night and you just sleep. Like, it's so lush. I've
Yeah,
never appreciated something so much in my life. That's it.
it's good to have that and to just also turn yourself off from like your phone and your computer because you
Yeah,
probably know as artists, like we're on it constantly. We have to be. It's part of
yeah,
the job. But yeah, disconnecting, it's so important, even if it's just like for an hour before bed. Like
yeah,
it definitely helps me feel like more present and more able to like relax when I just
yeah.
distance myself from it. I don't know how you're doing on time. I don't know if you have to run.
No, I'm good.
You good? Chris, we do have some questions from fans.
Yeah, let's
Um,
do it.
so the first question is, who or what inspired you to get started in the music field?
This is something I get asked a lot, especially in like radio interviews and things. Um, for anybody watching that doesn't know me, I lost my dad when I was 16. I kind of hate the term lost because I didn't lose him. He just died. He's in the ground. So sorry for that. But he was the only person in my family that was ever musical. So he had the guitars, and they were the first instruments that I ever kind of fucked around with and played on when he wasn't looking, and I wasn't really allowed to touch them. And now, actually, I'll show you. I have. How do I turn this around? That's it. It's my dad's Hofner from the 60s.
Very nice.
So it's a big nostalgic part of my music career. But I would also say that my dad aside, I've just always done it. Always. To the point where I was so badly bullied in school for sitting in toilet cubicles and singing Mariah Carey on my own that I just didn't give a fuck. Like,
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
I know, but like I didn't care though. You don't even have to be sorry. I didn't care. People used to beat the shit out of me and I just did not care. I was only happy ever when I was singing or writing songs or walking around the school corridors and like making up tunes, and just kids didn't get it. And now people say to me, oh my God, like I get so many messages on Instagram going, oh, how did you get this thing on Love Island? Or how did you get on Radio 1? And I'm like, it kind of annoys me because I'm like, yeah, sure, let me just give you 25 years of abuse and bullying worth of knowledge for free. You know, I'm like,
I
it's
hear
not
you
how did
loud
you
and
get on
clear.
that.
Yeah.
It's like how long did it take you to get on that? And for me, in answer to your question, is forever. My whole existence. That's it.
Yeah.
I've always been doing it. Always. It's been my only thing.
Cool. Um, the next question is, I mean, you've answered it a little bit, but what is it like being a musician?
Shit. It's
I know
shit.
it's a loaded one. I know.
It's shit. Really, it's shit. Do you know what sucks? Is people going to, I wish I could sing like you. And immediately the first thing in my head is, no, you actually don't. Because honestly, you are born into a world where you have a career aspiration that's next to impossible. And people shit on you all the time, especially for me as a female producer. I shit on my men all the time. Sorry if there are any guys in here watching that really appreciate women, and we see you and we love you, but
You're here. Yeah.
constantly disrespected, constantly sexualized. I've never been a skinny, tiny size 8 girl either. You know, I'm very much a Beth Ditto of the world. I'm outspoken, I'm weird, and people don't appreciate it. It's shit being a musician and being me, but also the people that message me and say, I've heard your song and I love it and I've been listening to it for the last week and it's made me feel happy again, it makes it worth it. So I almost feel like some sort of valiant cause on my shoulder, even though that might be a bit self-righteous. But that's the answer to that question. Shit and good all at the same time.
I would have to agree, for sure. Do you have any advice for an artist who is just beginning?
Yeah. So much. And also, similarly, if anyone's watching this, please feel free to DM me anytime. Please don't DM me saying, how did you get on Love Island? Because I will ignore it. But please feel free to DM me asking for advice. But my probably biggest chestnut of advice would be, don't ever let anybody tell you what music you should be making. Because even if you send somebody something and they don't like it or they think it's underdeveloped, the only person that can develop that and make it into something that's worthy of being a global sensation is you. And as long as you keep writing and working on it and really you, deep inside, deep in your soul, and really right between your ribcage of what you mean as a person and your soul is laid out in your music, that's what will sell. That's what will find you fans. And so many people will try to tell you to, oh, you know, you remind me of this person or this artist and you should sound like this and you should take inspiration from this. Take inspiration, but from your life. Like, the only way you're ever going to break through is to fill a gap that's missing. And the best chance you have at that is being yourself, because you're the only person in the whole entire planet that is you. So if you can turn yourself into a sound, that's a no-brainer, surely. You fill the gap because there's no one else like you, no matter who you are.
Yeah. I'd say that's great advice. I would also say, just from my own experience, grow a thick skin, because people are gonna reject you left and right. They're gonna try to knock you down.
Yeah.
As soon as you have like the tiniest success, they're gonna come for you. And it's just like, you need to just block it out, ignore it. Like,
for sure. And I will tell you that as well, like spilling the RuPaul tea. I live in like this I'm in a massive house, yeah, and I live with other musicians. And since we moved in here, we've all fallen out, and everybody's in it for themselves. And you can't blame any of us, you know. It's all got too close for comfort, and we're all just, you know, it's a jealousy and it's a competitiveness, and you will never survive in the music industry until you learn to appreciate those who are doing better than you whilst learning from them. That's the biggest thing you can do. And please, to anyone that's watching this, stop laying in bed at night scrolling through artists you want to be and looking at how well they're doing. It's so poisonous. Because I did it for so long. And I was so jealous. And you have to realize that the emotion of jealousy has absolutely no gain to it whatsoever. What do you gain from that feeling? Absolutely nothing. The best thing you can do is be inspired, be motivated, and just support those around you. Like, you just have to really, really, really go for what you want. That's it. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's just difficult. I feel quite passionately on this subject because I'm like, I see so many really great, talented young artists all the time. And because I'm a producer, I have people in for sessions all the time as well. And they're telling me all these things. And I'm like, yeah, but mate, how many hours a day are you spending on this? They're like, hour and a half. I'm like, that's not enough. That's not enough. And I'm sorry to be brutally honest, and it might even sound rude, but if you're watching this, you're trying to be a young musician, you're not going to do it unless you sacrifice everything else. I haven't gone to the pub or gone clubbing with my mates in about 3 years. I can't afford it. Every single pound or dollar or euro I make goes straight back in. That's it. Like, you can't, this is not a career where you can afford, it's not like you have a job in PR or business where you can just go out on a Friday, Saturday night. It's not, if you're doing music and you're doing it to become successful, it's life consuming. You have to want it so badly that you just give up everything else. That's it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I live month to month. It's like, it fucking sucks, but like I would not want to be doing anything else.
Yeah.
So.
And also I will say, when I finished music school about 4 years ago, I picked up a restaurant job and I was a restaurant manager in central London. I lasted a month and a half and I literally threw in the towel in public in front of a packed restaurant. I told my manager she was a cunt and literally walked out. And they've never gone back to hospitality ever since. That was it. I managed a month and a half after music school of being a normal working person, and I just couldn't do it. And after that, I said to myself, bitch, you are literally, you're doing this or you're not. But like, don't be a pussy. Like, literally, you just have to do it. That's it. You're going to have to be poor. You're going to have to be boyfriendless or girlfriendless. You're going to have to be friendless. You're going to have to pay everything you ever earn into this, because otherwise you are going to die with regrets. Like, right. That is it. It's that brutal. Like, honestly.
No, listen, I get it. I tried a job. It did not work. Just not cut out for it. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but it's, yeah, you have to sacrifice everything. It's like there's nothing that you don't give up in order to do this.
No.
So.
Everything.
Gotta give
anyway,
it all
that was
up.
a really long answer to your question. I'm aware.
No, these are great answers. It's nice to have, honest answers. Seriously, because people need to hear it. Someone says, I have some songs I wrote, but I got stuck in the middle while recording them. How can I get out?
Stuck in the middle while recording them. I guess it depends what you're recording. To me, that sounds, if you've already written the song and you're stuck with recording, to me, that sounds like you need different producers to come into the mix. If it's a sense that you're stuck with recording because the song isn't taking off, then maybe you need to revise the writing. I am such a massive advocate of collaboration. So I just think if you ever get stuck with any song on any part of the process, whether that's writing, chords, production, mixing, anything, there is, probably at least 1 billion people on the face of this earth that are doing the same thing as you and want the same things as you, and just take advantage of it and really collaborate with people and mix and, bring ideas to the table. Only earlier today, I was on a live with FMP and I was showing my friend Uli, who's the co-founder, a song I wrote yesterday, which has 2 alternate choruses, and I couldn't decide between the 2 choruses. And then I thought they were both shit, and then I nearly deleted the whole song. And then she came in, she was like, no, this is it, and that other chorus that you've done, that's the bridge. And I'm like, oh, okay, sweet. So what I would say to somebody who's halfway through recording a song and doesn't know what to do, I would say get more creative people involved, get ideas, get opinions. That's the best thing you can ever do.
Yeah. It's good advice. So now we have a couple questions that are more about mental health.
Yeah.
One of them is, if you struggle with a sense that unburdening your stress in turn burdens others, how do you deal?
If you struggle with what?
If you struggle with a sense that unburdening your stress in turn burdens others, how do you deal?
Do you know what? It's a good question, actually. It's a really good question, because I burden my mum every day of her fucking life, like, honestly. And my mum always says to me, she's like, when you ring me, I fear the worst, because I don't talk to my mum when I'm happy. I only ring my mum when I'm either A, on the verge of a panic attack, or B, crying about a boy. That's it. You have to have those people in your life that unconditionally love you. And if you don't have them, and your family life is shit, or you find them, because there are other people in the world that are looking for a crutch like that, and you will only find that in other people. And I can't stress enough, like, you have to have a support network. And whether that means going to you know, support groups or meetings or going to networking evenings, anything, you need to have somebody that is there to listen unconditionally, and it's not a burden. But I will add, you have to give in what you take. It's always give and take. So when you're feeling well in your own mental health, remember the people that have been there for you when you're not, and check in on them, because you are a burden. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, you are a burden. I'm a fucking burden on so many people. I'm such an annoying bitch. I honestly constantly ring people and I'm like, I think I'm shit and I'm really fat and ugly and I just think my whole life is shit. Aww. And I just I hear myself and I'm like, how boring is this conversation for the other person? And I just think you have to remember that everybody feels like that. And there will be times when somebody maybe is not as confident as you to reach out and say they're feeling that way. So just remember karma, remember the circle of giving and taking. Be there for people that are there for you, and don't stress about it. Everybody needs to vent how shit they're feeling about themselves most of the time. So don't worry, but just make sure it's a trusted person and have those people. And if you don't have those people, start building them. That's my answer.
Start building them, and maybe find a therapist too.
Yeah,
therapy has helped me immensely.
Honestly, CBT is like the savior of your life. But also, anybody watching this, please, like, if you're feeling that way, please DM me, because I'm always here to talk, and I'm so happy. I've had so much love and wisdom in my life with my own issues that I'm so happy to always give it back. So if you do just need someone to talk to, I'm always here on the other end of Instagram. I will 100% reply and chat to you. I'm here. That's it.
If you're just tuning in, Georgia's Instagram is here. I am Georgia Meek. So here's the last question. What do you usually do to have fun?
Oh, I feel like I should say something like really healthy and like inspirational, but I just get pissed and smoke a lot of weed with my mates. No, it's not good for you. Don't do it. But also, I just like having fun is whatever your version of fun is. That's it. Do something that you honestly don't have to think about ever. That's it. My version of having fun is not thinking about anything. And also playing live gigs. I will throw that in there, because that is the most fun I ever have. Like on the night of a live show, that's what I actually live for. And that's what's made lockdown so hard, is that I can't play live gigs. That sucks. But yeah, just in general, just hanging out and having times with friends. That's it. It's all about the people for me. I'm a people person, so.
I'm the opposite. I like to just watch TV.
Well, this is what my mum always says, that I need to get better at that. Is like enjoying my own company, which I'm really bad at. It's like I very much acknowledge it in myself, as I'm really bad at being on my own. So lockdown for me has been catastrophic, because I'm like, I don't know how to hang out with myself at all.
It's hard. Listen, I spent a lot of years like just trying to be with friends as much as possible, because I was afraid of being by myself. But I kind of had to force myself to do it, because I wanted to be able to like get stronger and be able to be alone. And now it's like I fucking love it, maybe too much. I like don't really hang out with many people. I'm like very happy to just be in my bed watching TV.
But I think that's great. Honestly, that's such a good, and that is definitely.
I think we lost you, Georgia. Oh, you cut out for a sec.
I've just been forced to get better at it. Yeah, my phone was saying I had low battery. Yeah, I've just been forced to get better at it because of lockdown. So I think going back into normal life, that's something that I really want to like get better at. Definitely, it's just enjoying your own company. But I don't think many people are good at that. I think we're a very social species. I think people are bad at being on their own.
Yeah, it's a very hard thing to do. to be alone with your own thoughts is very scary, but you know, you gotta work at it and it becomes easier. So if anyone I just noticed a few people came in. I'm on with Georgia Meek, artist from the UK, and her Instagram is here on the wall. If you want to follow, go follow her. Listen to her new song, Made of Stone, out on Spotify, Apple, everywhere there's music to stream. Yeah, so thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate you being here and sharing your story and for being honest.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. Anytime.
We should do it again soon, definitely. I've loved
yes. It. Oh my God, please. Okay, well, I'm gonna leave
and also
everybody
I just want to say again, if anybody is struggling with any mental health issues, or if anybody's feeling alone during lockdown, I'm on the other end of Instagram. Even if you want a video chat, call, anything, just ring me, because I'm literally the easiest person to talk to ever, and I'm not doing much else than you are. So really just come at me with your issues. That's absolutely fine. That's what I want to say. No one's alone.
That's amazing. Yeah, very sweet of you. So her Instagram is I am Georgia Meek. Yeah, thank you for coming. Thank you for tuning in. I'm gonna leave you guys with Made of Stone.
Fate could choose the two of us. Maybe we can choose to trust. Make me feel like I could be enough. We build it up, really crawl, cause the castle that we made is built. When the sky is dark and the thunder rolls, we'll take shelter in our cars and make a stone. And I couldn't build this castle on my own.
Oh yeah.
I can never think of
Thank you so much for being here.
I love you.
Bye.
She'll leave you all wrong.
Bye.